Hello Year 11, this is your lesson on combinations. So, I want you to imagine you're at an ice cream shop and you're going to be buying 2 scoops of ice cream. You don't want to have 2 scoops of the same flavour. From these 6 flavours on the side here, how many different 2 scoop ice creams can you make? Pause the video while you have a think about that. Okay, so we've got to bear in mind that choosing lemon and strawberry is the same as choosing strawberry and lemon, for example. When we make choices like this, in which the order does not matter, we call them selections or combinations. We use this notation here, so an N up in the air, a C, and then an R down here. And we read this N choose R. And this is used to represent the number of different ways R-sized groups can be made from N distinct objects. So we're going to have a look at how we can find a formula for N choose R. In the example we had before, we picked 2 flavours from a group of 6. We had 6 choices for our first pick and then 5 choices left for the second pick because we weren't allowed to choose the same thing twice. This gave us 30 possibilities, but because lemon and strawberry is the same as strawberry and lemon, we need to take that into consideration. So we have repeated pairs, so that means we need to divide by 2 to get the actual number of pairs. So in our example, the number of pairs we had was 6 times 5 divided by 2, so we had 15 different choices. Let's think about what would happen if we were picking 3 flavours, if we were feeling particularly hungry. We'd have 6 choices for our first pick, 5 for our second pick, and 4 for the third pick. So that gives us 120 possibilities, but we need to remember that each group of 3 this time is repeated 6 times. Where does I get that 6 from? Well, that 6 is the number of ways I can arrange 3 things. So my 120 needs to be divided by 6, or divided by 3 factorial. Let's have a look at a different example. So Harry is picking a football team, a 4-player football team from a group of 9 people. We want to think about how many different teams he could make. Our first choice, we've got 9 possibilities, and then 8, then 7, and then 6. Each group of 4 is repeated 4 factorial times. So this gives us this many possible teams. Let's think about how we could write this fraction here. So instead of saying 9 times 8 times 7 times 6, because that's hard to generalise for bigger numbers, I can say that 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 is 9 factorial divided by 5 factorial. You see, this is 9 factorial, but I've got rid of everything that's 5 and below. So 9 factorial divided by 5 factorial. Number of ways of organising my 4 people here is 4 factorial, so that's multiplying with 5 factorial in the denominator. In general, for n choose r, it's n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial. You will also see it written like this. So a bit like a column vector, nr. We just still say this as n choose r, just a different form of notation. Now on your CAS, you can go menu probability combinations, and then you write the n as the first thing in the brackets and the r as the second thing in the brackets. What you can also do, which is quicker, is you can just type the letters NCR and then brackets, in this case 20, 10, and it will understand what you're telling it to do. Okay then, have a go at these 3 questions now. Pause the video while you do that. Now, thinking about question 6, what do you notice about your answer to A and D? Also, what do you notice about your answers to B and C? Hopefully, you will see that they are the same. Now let's think about why that is. If we choose 2 elements out of 10, that's the same as not choosing 8 elements out of 10. So we have this equivalence here that n choose r is equal to n choose n minus r. It's symmetric. Other useful results. N choose 0 is always 1. There is only one way to choose nothing from a group of objects. N choose n is always equal to 1. There's only one way to choose all of the objects that you have. N choose 1 is always n. If you've got 3 objects and you're only choosing one of them, you've only got 3 ways to choose them. And then due to the symmetry, n choose n minus 1 is equal to n as well. These 5 things will come in really useful, and they're going to come in particularly useful for the next questions that are going to set you from the textbook. So you might find it good to pause the video now and write them down. Okay, so here's question 2 and 3. Using the results on the previous slide, have a go at answering these without a calculator. Okay, a few more example questions. So we've got 6 points lying on a circle. How many triangles can we make using these points as vertices? Well, we've got 6 points. Triangles have 3 vertices. So we just need to say what's 6 choose 3. It is 20. Now, just a pointer, which isn't to do with combinations, but is to do with drawing triangles. Sometimes when you're asked to make triangles, there are certain things that you need to think about. So, for example, if I was asked to make triangles from these 6 dots here, if I were to choose these 3 dots, I haven't made a triangle there. I've made a straight line. However, if we're looking at a circle, it's impossible for 3 dots to lie on a straight line because, well, you can see that that's just not something that is possible to happen on the circle. I can have a straight line with 2 dots, but then the other one always has to be somewhere else on the circumference of the circle. So we don't have to think about any non-triangles in this situation. Okay, second example. 20 people at a party all shake hands. How many handshakes take place? So 2 people participate in a handshake. So we're saying to ourselves, how many ways can 2 people be chosen from 20? 20 choose 2, pop it into your calculator, you get 190. Okay then. Now I would like you to have a go at questions 8 to 15. Just a quick pointer actually about this question. If you were asked to do this without your CAS, so we know that this is 20 factorial over 2 factorial, 18 factorial. So I know that 20 factorial divided by 18 factorial is just 20 times 19. I've cancelled by 18 factorial, so I'm just left with 2 factorial, which is 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10, so that's just 10 times 19, which is 190. So these questions, even though it looks complicated, often you can work them out without a calculator as well. Okay then, so questions 8 to 15, make sure you're marking your work as you go and ask your teacher if you have any questions. Thank you.